Committee member of the University Law College Alumni Association, welcome all the participants to the 14th session of the webinar series organized by the University Law College Alumni Association jointly with the University Law College, Bangalore University. It's a privilege to welcome our alumni, Shri R. Madhusudana Reddy, on behalf of the University Law College, Bangalore University, and University Law College Alumni Association. I would also take this opportunity to welcome the Principal of University Law College, Dr. Suresh V. Nadagaudar, the President of University Law College Alumni Association, Shri Gautam Chand SF, General Secretary, Dr. V. Sudesh, and Vice President of Alumni Association, Shri Hem Kumar. Let me introduce today's speaker, Shri R. Madhusudana Reddy, Advocate, High Court of Karnataka. Thank you, sir, for accepting our invitation. It's a pleasure to have you with us today. Shri R. Madhusudana Reddy was a student in the first batch of the 5-year law course of the University Law College, Bangalore University. He enrolled with the bar in 1991 and started his career in the chambers of Senior Counsel, Shri S.K.V. Charapati in Bangalore. Later, he shifted to Chennai and worked under Senior Advocate Shri S.A. Rajan and practiced in the Chennai High Court for 10 years. Subsequently, he worked as an Assistant General Manager in Monthly Developers Private Limited, Bengaluru. Shri R. Madhusudana Reddy established his law firm in the name Trinetra and Partners in 2009 with a motive to get empowered and empower others to provide quick relief to the people in need. He has handled various matters in the areas of civil law, criminal law, banking law, family laws, business and commercial laws, has advised various clients in the manufacturing and real estate sectors. IRAC is an acronym for Issue, Rule, Application or Analysis, and Conclusion, a method used in composing certain legal documents and reports. It is one way to structure legal analysis. The beauty of IRAC is that it allows you to reduce the complexities of the law to a simple question. Today, Shri R. Madhusudana Reddy would be speaking on IRAC, Advocates' Road to Success. Over to you, sir.
Sahanavavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvina Vaditamastu Mavid Vishavahai Shanti Shanti Shanti. Namaskaram. Namaskaram, everyone. Thank you, Bindu, for the kind words.
Thank you, sir.
I thank Professor Dr. Suresh V. Nadagauda, our principal, our dear President, Sri Gautam Chand, General Secretary, Professor Dr. V. Sudesh, Sri Hem Kumar, our Vice President, and all other members of the Executive Committee, University Law College Alumni Association, for giving me this opportunity and preparing the platform to speak to this August gathering. I take this opportunity to thank my teachers, Dr. V.B. Kutino, and all other teachers, including Chidanandaya sir, my mentor, Justice Dr. N. Kumar, retired judge, High Court of Karnataka, Bangalore, my seniors, Sri S.K.V. Charapati, Senior Counsel, Bangalore, Sri S.A. Rajan sir, Senior Counsel, Chennai, Sri B.S. Manjunath, Advocate, Bangalore, who showed my initial days of practice, Sri K.V. Bhuvanendra, who introduced me to the corporate world, Sri K. Nagabhushan Reddy, with whom I learned the nuances of the criminal law practice, and Sri Bhavin Patel, who taught me the IRAC method. My team, who encouraged me to do this presentation, and most importantly, all of you, including my opponent counsel, through whom I learned a lot. Justice N. Kumar is to tell us what you learn from your seniors is only 10%. What you learn from your opponent is about 90%. So they make a very important teachers in our growth. These webinars are useful to enhance the knowledge in law, and more importantly, this is the platform where all of us learn from the experiences of the unique journeys that we all travel in pursuit of law, in the practice of law. Today's topic, IRAC. It is an acronym for issue, rule, analyze, and conclude. This IRAC method can be used by the lawyers. For that matter, everybody can use it in their lives. However, due to shortage of time, I will be focusing on lawyers, law graduates, final year students, sophomores, and these are the people whom I will be focusing it, so that it will be useful for them. I will not be using much of the legal jargon, and it is going to be a talk more of than the theory. It's going to be my experience, because that's what is going to matter. This IRAC method is used all over the world, but however, it is used in countries which follow common law system. The countries like the UK and the US, if a lawyer does not follow the IRAC method, those lawyers will not be recognized. It is not that they're going to say, no, it is not correct. They won't say that, or just they're going to ignore you if you do not follow that. In India, if you read judgments, almost all the judges follow this system. This is conspicuous judgments of Justice N. Kumar, if you can read it, and Justice Rohinton Narman judgment, which is there now in the Supreme Court. Many others. Recently, I was reading Justice Indira Jai Singh's one judgment. It's also same procedure has been followed. Our senior counsel, Sri Basava Prabhu Patil, during his talk mentioned that he follows IRAC while accepting the brief itself. This is so with most of the seniors that I come across. They may not say the word IRAC, but this is the format that they expect you to follow when you instruct the senior counsels. So what is IRAC? As I said, it is an acronym and a tool constituting issue, rule, analyze, and conclude. So the letter I stands for an issue. So issue is actually a very, very complex proposition of law. You need to know how to take an issue. You should know the law. You should have read the latest judgments, and only you can come to a conclusion and prepare an issue. So it's a complex, and it requires a lot of practice to come to what the issue is. But to simply put it, as I told for the youngsters, simply put it, what is an issue? Issue is a facts in dispute, which requires to be proved in the court of law. Even though it's complex, I take this opportunity to beseech our president, who is also the chairman of Karnataka State Bar Council Law Academy, to run post-pandemic workshops, day workshops, so that we can cover this and impart this knowledge to the lawyers who are coming up. See, the most important aspect which every lawyer be thorough with are the facts. In fact, my senior, S.K.V. Chalapati, will pardon if you do not know what the law is, what the judgments on the point. But he becomes very furious and just dismisses you if you are not thorough with your facts. So facts is what going to give you the facts in dispute. So then he also emphasizes that the junior should be thorough with the facts, and the first and foremost skill that the lawyer should develop is to extract and synchronize the facts and then arrive at facts in dispute. To a fresh junior, it is difficult to form this statement of facts. But the very simple and easy way to prepare the sequence of events is to prepare it chronologically. It may be from latest to the oldest or oldest to the latest. See, my ex-employer, Sri Sushil Mantri, likes to have the sequence from latest to the oldest. Probably all business people would like to have it like that. But it is what I have seen with other lawyers, other senior counsels whom I instruct, and myself. I prefer its oldest to the latest. You see, which will be very useful, very helpful in drafting the pleadings or preparing the deeds. Now, first, capture all the facts, collect all the relevant documents, and understand the issues involved. Then finalize the relief that the client seeks. See, when the client comes, he will not know what is issue only. He will come and will just say, "Sir, please arrest this man." He'll come like that and he will tell you. So make him calm down, make him sit down and talk and take all the facts. Suppose you are not able to do that, you can always sit with your senior counsel and go through how he also extract the facts and synchronize them and take the relevant facts and arrive at the fact in dispute. This is a very important skill, as I said, as my senior said. So please follow it up and get it using chronological way. The R for the rule stands for law, that is applicable law for the issue. See, as lawyers, we should be thorough in knowing the applicable law. In fact, the difference between the client and the lawyer is only the knowledge of law. The first book that I always refer when you are doing, when you go for the law is Ramanatha Iyer's for law and for the analysis. I use Ramanatha Iyer's book. Whereas you can go for any, even a small word, if you can go, it's an encyclopedia where you can get all the details. It's a major law lexicon issued by LexisNexis. Now, my senior, S.A. Rajan, is also there today in the webinar. Thank you, sir. He used to tell us that juniors should study at least one bare act per day. See, in India, there are about 1,000 places, central acts and state acts. And there are acts from birth to death. Everything is covered. When there are two people, there is a conflict. And when there are three people, there is politics. That's what my elders told. So we will never go out of job. So we have to be very happy for that. But having said that, it's our job to resolve the issues. See, the very important acts are covered and published in various publications, which are by the various publishers. We can look into that. When our Honorable Justice Pratibha Singh was giving her talk, she mentioned the Government of India website, indiacode.nit.in. After her talk, in fact, I started using it more. And I found that, to my surprise, that many of the central acts are updated with the latest amendments, which is not so with regard to state acts. So probably they're going to develop it in time to come. But the state acts, what is that you can do is that, or all the acts for that matter, you can Google it, but be very conscious that when you are Googling it, you have to go for the latest amendments. If you just put an act, probably the act will come, it's a old act without the amendments. Be very careful in that aspect. Other places, the official website of governments and the relevant websites also contain the acts, rules and regulations that is covered under by that authority. These things are also all available for free of cost, and you can always download it or you can refer them whenever you wanted to know about the acts. Apart from this, there are apps. Nowadays, everybody has got one smartphone. All these apps also we can download it. Most of the things, as I know, is all free of cost. You can just download it and keep it in your mobile. See, when I was arguing some matter, I was appearing before some court some time back. During this pandemic, I didn't have the books. Well, you don't take the books and go. But when I was sitting and I was arguing, I wanted something else. Then my colleague who is sitting next to me, he just gave me. He opened his laptop, his mobile, and gave me these. This is Order 23 rules. Please read it like that. So I was pleasantly surprised. And this is one way of getting this, ready reckoner. If at all you want anything, you can get it. Then the most important, after the what the laws are, then the most important thing is the application of law. Where is that application law is applied? This is the next the letter, that is R, that is A, I'm sorry, A, that is application of law or the analysis. If juniors want to get attention, immediate attention of the senior or of the judge in the court, this is one skill you must develop. This is a very important aspect of a research and to resolve the issue in hand. Again, as I told you earlier, it is better. This is how I start my research. Whatever is the comes as it comes, an issue comes to me. First, I will get into this P. Ramanatha IS, the major law lexicon. It is an encyclopedic law dictionary with legal maxims, Latin terms, and words and phrases. You just take a word, you just go to that book, and you get that. You get, you go and you read it, then you will get the first fundamental. What is that law? You will get that. Then, what is that you need to do is there are a lot of other search engines. There is Rexus himself has got a search engine. There are some Manupatra, there are many other search engines, private search engines. But I found that SEC Online is a very useful tool. I am sure most of the independent lawyers have subscribed to this. Sri Baswaraj, member, is here, Karnataka State Bar Council member, used to offer his office to do research for the advocates in need. His office, and you can go and you can research, take prints. He was telling that it's very kind of thing. And I take this opportunity to say that our office is also in Cunningham. Netra Partners has been. It is diagonally opposite to High Ground Police Station. See, when you are citing the judgments that is given by the first judgment, that better to see, look into our Supreme Court judgments, the latest Supreme Court judgments. Then you go into SEC Online. There are many ways that we can do the search. We can do it in the client's party's name, if you know the parties. If you can do it, you also can do it by, if you know the citation, you can do the citation. You can also do the subject matter or the field of law that in which that you are doing research, and many ways that you can do it, and quickly you can do the research. First, research and find out the case laws of the Honorable Supreme Court of India, and then you can go for the High Court judgments, whichever the High Court that you are practicing. Though even all the High Courts have got the equal footing, it is preferable to prioritize the judgments of the High Courts, of particular High Court that where you are practicing. See, other place where you can get all these judgments is again the official websites of the particular websites of the High Courts. And here in High Court of Karnataka has got its own website where you can go. Almost all judgments will be there in that. There also you can go. Suppose you are going to argue a matter before one particular judge, you can go and you can research what are the judgment that he has passed on that particular subject, and you can also extract and understand what it is also. It's also when people say that you should know the judge, this is what it means, what exactly that it's there in his mind and what he has done it earlier. So it will be useful. We can also, let us say, for example, we can also quote the judgments of other high courts. Let us say, for example, let's say in Karnataka, if you take our Honorable Chief Justice of Karnataka, he is from outside. Justice Alok Arade is from outside. When they come, and you can also go and just research and find out what the judgment that they have passed, and those judgments also probably you can refer to get that immediate attention and get the relief that you are looking at. See, once you complete, when are you going to complete the research? when you are going back, when you are doing the research, when the same judgments are keep coming back, probably that is the time where you have to stop your research. And once you think that your research is complete, and when you are also doing the research, you see the latest judgments first and the oldest. That's also one of the best way of doing it. And you also see the quorum, and the quorum from oldest being for the largest bench to the smallest bench. Then also, and other very important thing is here, most of the judgments will go for, will be covering most of the legal aspects. You will be looking at only one particular legal aspect. So that particular paragraph, you go, you highlight it with the permission of the court. Of course, you say, and you just highlight those paragraphs, and you just say, this is what I am relying on. Now, once you do it, basically the junior lawyers, once you do this, when you know what the when you come to the facts in dispute, and when you know what the law is, when you have finalized what the law is and the latest judgments on the point, what you do next is what is called as a legal memorandum. The legal memorandum, what you do is you first write the issue, right? Once you write the issue, then you write what is the conclusion immediately. Probably many of the senior counsels, they will be looking for immediate what is the immediate conclusion. Then you see it. After that, you write all the facts. Chronologically is better, oldest to latest. Then, after doing that, you would just write down the law, the applicable law, and you start your discussion how that particular law is applied by the Honorable Supreme Court of India and all other high courts. In this way, when chronologically when you are doing it, you can actually come to the conclusion. I remember one of the senior counsel was saying that the law is also like a mathematics. If you really do it correctly, properly, then it is just like 2 plus 2. You can come to the conclusion very, very easily. It is not so when the complex legal aspects come into being and different views come up, it will keep changing. Now, see, understanding the issue, applying the relevant law and the judgments on the point, it will help the advocates to come to the conclusion and advise the client accordingly. And your legal memorandum, when you cover all the things in the legal memorandum, you can also keep it in your repository and you can use it. Let us say, for example, let's say 138 Negotiable Instruments Act, there is a case for you, and you do the research and you prepare a legal memorandum and keep it. Then after that, what you do is, whenever there is some new cases come up, when there is a change of law, you start updating your legal memorandum so that it can be used for future reference as well. See, again, keeping in mind, there are many students, fresh law graduates, juniors. I would like to say there are 3 things: the issue, the relevant law, and the later judgments on the point. And an advocate will be ready to prepare what you call the plaint. It will be the senior counsel, what they're going to do is we are going to prepare the plaint. And the plaint, if your legal memorandum is exhaustive, is all the applicable law and the judgments are covered in the legal memorandum, it will be easy for the senior counsel to prepare the pleadings. When you are writing this legal memorandum, you have to explain it. Do not bother about the particular case. You just explain it what it is, and you just highlight the important judgments which will be applicable to the facts in hand. As I told in the beginning, we learn from our experiences and the experiences of the senior advocates. Like any other lawyers, we had our own flaws and corrections and brought down our experiences. And we have seen success when we are following these principles. There are many times where we think that the judgment is wrong, and when we go to our mentors or senior counsels and ask them, sir, what went wrong? Why did I lose this case? Then they will say the judgment is correct. Why? Means then they will give you the details. This is the point that you have missed. That's how we also learn and we go. we also grow in our profession. Now, this is as regards to the, as I told you, this is a very vast subject, and we should have each and every one. You can have one day workshop, and we can go through and get all the details of all where what is an issue, how to frame an issue, what is the law, how to find out what is an applicable law. If time permits, probably I will take up one or two examples to say how exactly that is going to be helpful. See, more importantly, the experiences that we undergo in this profession is what has to be shared, and it has to be learned from. I have come across many senior counsels in my life. Wherever I go, I walk up to them, and whenever I'm asking them the doubts that I'm having it, till today, nobody said no. And their knowledge is so vast that they used to go to the point and then give it to them. Let's say, for example, once earlier when I was to make a pleading or a memorandum and go and talk to my senior counsel, let's say S.K. Vichalapati, you should just discard it. S.A. Rajan, you just need to discard it. And they used to draft their own. Then from there we start on, we learned. Now we have reached a place where one of the recent, when I went for my senior counsel, yes, sir, this is what I have done it. I wanted to finalize this. So he just saw and just said only one para, add section 13, add Marbadaya. That's how he says. So that is the vast knowledge that they are having, and it is for your growth in the profession. It is always important that we are connected well with our senior counsels. Not only the senior counsels under whom we practice and we learn law, all the senior counsels, they will be helpful. Many advocates who are there, let's go, we walk them, let's say C.V. Nagesh, when I was just talking to him, this is a senior counsel, he also said, when it comes to the clients, you have to just focus on what the client wants. And once when I was meeting Mr. Nariman, the senior Nariman, he was also telling me that you have to keep the client in your mind and what is the relief that you want. Taking all these experiences into my life, we have formed out another acronym, that is what we call it as a 4 R's. The 4 R's, what does that stand for? The 4 R's stand for the respect, the relief, the remuneration, and the reputation. Now, the first is the respect. I will talk about the personal level. See, the advocate should have respect of the clients, and clients should have the respect of the advocates. So once this basic respect, if it is not there, it is better. It's very painful, but it's better not to take those risks, because we do not know what is going to happen tomorrow. You don't want it to be, it is something adverse happens. I think unnecessarily we may have to cut a sorry figure. Now, when a person comes with an issue, when you sit with him, when you talk to him, and you tell him what is going to be the outcome. This is going to be the outcome, boss. You want to take up, you will take up, and we will do it. I cannot, if it is falling under the ethics, I cannot say no to accepting your brief. I take up a brief, but this is what is going to happen. You can say it first, but you could put all your efforts, do the best. Ultimately, there is a client who is going to give us a fee, and we have to do what we are doing for the client. So that mutual respect is required. At the same time, again, the quality of work that you do in a brief, that also gives you the respect. You can earn the respect of your senior counsel, seniors, or the senior counsels you are instructing, or the judges before whom you are making your submissions. The respect that we can derive, that we can get this respect from all these people is simply because on merit. I have seen it only like this. Although any senior counsel, if you take it and go, they will do it, you'll see only merit. And the merit comes only by the work that you are doing it. The depth of knowledge and the depth of the research that you do on the topic that you are instructing, that is very, very important. So then once you have earned that respect, when there is the first thing that you have to look at it, the next is the relief. So why a client will come to a lawyer? Because he has an issue, and then an issue which he cannot resolve by himself. He wants the help of a lawyer or the court of law. That's the reason he comes to you. And what kind of relief that they look at? They look at quick relief As I told you in the beginning, when I say that somebody comes, sir, please put him in jail. Like that, they walk in. You say, what is the reason? Sir, he has taken money from me 10 years back and he has not given the money, 100 rupees, something like that. They will come. So we have to make them sit and calmly tell them that this is not the way. This is how it is. That's how we have to do it like that. This is how we can also say. And that's another important thing is, the next important thing is, when you cannot give, let us say, the relief. Let's say, for example, as Bindu said, I also advise many business owners who are into manufacturing sector, real estate sector. They'll have their own unique problems in the said business. So one of the recently, one client came to me and said, sir, I have one problem in GST. See, using this IRAC method, I can also find out and I can also help him. But the better way, keeping the interest of the client in mind, what is that we can do is, you find out a lawyer who is practicing exclusively in that field of law, and you can refer the matter to them. So what is going to happen by this? We will be helping of giving the quick relief to the client, and it's also most probably when they are doing the same work, even the fees and the expenses for that particular client to resolve that particular issue also will be very less. More importantly, they also can refer the matters to you when you are of your expertise or where you are doing it, which they are not expert. They can always give it to us. Whether they're going to give it us or not is a second matter. This is also a way where we can build our network. The next is what I see is the remuneration. This is what is a very, very sensitive issue. Most of the people whom I saw are not very good in this. I have seen very great lawyers, but when it comes to fees, including my senior counsel, it's very, very difficult for them to charge the fees. It is for me, again, as an young lawyer, what I would say is that you should not be shy in asking for the remuneration, the fee that you deserve. See, each issue will have its own complexities, and each issue will have its own fees that you can charge. It also depends on the lawyers. So many things. Let us say, for example, I'll come to the next one, reputation. And even based on the reputation that we are going to get, also we can take it. Let's say, for example, we are doing something very new subject. Probably we can charge less because we ourselves are going to do. We are going to learn from doing that research and conducting that particular case. All right. So then, what I wanted to say is that you don't be shy. Let's say, for example, somebody has got a issue that they wanted to get resolved. They come to you. See, they are going to come from either from their house or office, and they come to here. They come here to you. Are they coming by walking? No, they'll come by, let's say, by private transport or a public transport or whatever they are coming. They are coming, and for that they are going to pay for the petrol and for the transportation. They come and come. There they cannot say that you have to pay. But so, for example, they go to a doctor. They have to pay. So when it comes to the lawyers only, I don't know. I have come across it. I think many people, young, the first generation lawyers also face this. You have this practical experience. They'll say, sir, the case I will pay it after the case is over. So I do not know. We have to see, and you have to take a call on that. And when it comes to remuneration, I also wanted to say there's something called as an 80-20 policy. See, 80% of the work that the 20% of the work that you do will give you the remuneration of that, even that 80% also. There are many work that will be doing pro bono for various reasons. But there is 20%, believe me, you have to just focus on the work and keep doing it. I am telling you it will come, because it is also an alumni association that I am addressing to. So it's all of my brothers, sisters, and my juniors. I cannot say seniors because I am the first batch, and so I am talking to them. So it is when I first started my profession, my first salary is about 200 rupees in 1991. But I was agitated, and I went to my B.S. Manjunath and I asked, what is this? He said, congratulations for you, because I used to get 100 rupees. So that's how we started, and my room rent was 225 rupees. So what is the lawyer's job? Lawyer's job is to resolve the others' issues. So we cannot become our own issue. So we have to find our own solutions. Trust me, when I started my practice and when there's no money, they used to tell us, just don't bother, please focus on your work and definitely money will follow. I know you don't believe me because I did not believe when my senior counsel said this. And seniors, whenever I met or close to me, when I asked this question, they used to say this. B.S. Manjunath, for that matter, I told him. I used to went and I used to ask him, Manju, is there anybody who will come to me as a client? Who is going to come to me? I don't know anything. I'm very new to Bangalore. Will I get it? Then he used to say, no, you wait. There's going to be a time where even if at all I want to come and meet you, I have to take an appointment and meet you. I used to feel very happy. It's the confidence that he gives us. This is what the same even with, let's say, Gautam Chand, for that matter. He's also my classmate. Whenever we have some kind of an issue, then we go and talk to him. They have this ability to just boost us, boost our confidence, and have that faith. And many times, when the cases that we wanted to win, we lose, or whatever is the reason. That's the time where we used to go and sit in judges in the courts and just watch it. And once you keep watching it, let's say for about half an hour also, you get back that faith. Yes, I think this profession I can survive and I can do better. So this webinar is also to give this particular confidence for the law students, sophomores, and the juniors and the people who are going to start their independent practice. And other thing is that when you are conducting the court cases, there will be some settlements. You will have a very good, very strong legal case. Still, the clients will come and they say, you please settle it. Settle the matter for us. Whatever is the strongest point of your clients, I would suggest that you go for settlement. Because I think once when I was interacting with another senior counsel, A. Masudan Rao, I think he said this to me. He said, Madhu, the most important thing is that the worst settlement is better than the best judgment. So you go, because our job, as again C.V. Nagesh said, you have to keep your eyes like this towards the relief of your client. And whenever the client going to get a relief, whatever it is, if he is satisfied, you go ahead and do the settlement. Now I think I have got another 5 minutes. I want to take up 2 examples as regards to the how to use IRAC. I will take up a very simple, funny example. Pardon me. Am I audible to Bindu?
Yes. Yes. Good, Madhusudan.
Yeah, it looks like some.
Kelistada bere ello participants in the other sound. It's okay. You carry on.
All right. So when you are then the way how you build your practice. Suppose as you said, this is like something like Vastu. Whether you believe it or not, when you put something in place, the initial things in place, all the things, other things will fall in place. It is like this. So when you are initially building your practice, as I was taught by my seniors also, this is what we need to follow. When there is an issue and there is applicable law and the judgments, you do the research properly and you present it before the courts, and the success will be definite. And he also, Justice N. Kumar told this to me one day, that we should not be, again, the fear of failure is the other one which I wanted to talk. When you lose a case, when you winning case, when you lose, that's what I was talking about. When you winning a case, you lose your, the zeal will come down. You get your self-doubts. So how to overcome that? Justice N. Kumar said this to me when I asked him what to do in this kind of situation. He said, see, when you have a bad case, you must lose. That is what is justice. That's the reason why upfront only you are going to tell them. So this is what is going to happen. And everything you tell in the upfront to the client, this is the time that is going to take. And this is going to be the costs involved in it, your fees, court fees, other miscellaneous costs. You go tell them everything. You also can tell, this is my retainer fee. And this is the way that even we can also build our reputation. with the clients and even with the courts also. See, there are, as I told you, once you come to one level, let's say, I think Harish Salve did Kulbhushan's case for our country, and he took, I think, it's only 1 rupee or something like that. And for various, Ramjit Mulani took up and he charged, I think, his written fee is about 3 crores and an appearance fee is about 20 lakhs, something like that, about 4 crore rupees he charged. And when Arvind Kejriwal said in the defamation case of Arun Jaitley, he said, I can't pay, the government of Delhi has to pay or what when it comes. He said, no, I'm going to waive off everything. And he did it almost free of cost. So it's like that. You have to see it. Again, I was saying most of the work you have to do pro bono. In Basava Prabhu Bhattal was saying like that. You don't have a right to say no, a brief, unless otherwise you are barred taking up the brief. In work and ethics, when he was talking about, that. Now, so coming back. Now, when we wanted to do this this webinar, when I was discussing with Gautam Chand and what is the topic that we wanted to do. Because when you want to talk about any other law, which is available, it's good that we are getting a lot of knowledge, which they have with the other speakers have acquired, and we can listen to it, we can get it, that particular knowledge. But the most important is what we were thinking was, we wanted to keep some kind of a path or a road, wherein once you know what the road is, then I think it will be easy. It will be easy for others, to sail through. That's the reason why we have said this as, advocates, the road to success. IRAC, advocates road to success, the name came. For example, let us say you are having a BMW car. So when you have a BMW car, but if you do not have a road, so where are you going to go? It will be going to be very difficult, isn't it? Like that. When you have a road, what is the vehicle that you are growing? When the road is smooth, you can keep on going, and believe me, you will get cases. My first break came when in my 25th year of my practice. I was told that A.K. Gopalan's case, that lawyer, he got it after 12 years practicing nothing, having nothing. He came after 12 years, he got a break. Like everybody will get their own breaks. Only thing, what is that? We do not know what is there in future for us. What is the only thing that we can do is we have to equip ourselves and we have to make this strong foundation. I wanted to say this, that my strong foundation was done in the first 3 to 4 years of my life. 2.5 years I was with CSK with Chalapati sir. I wanted to tell, and about another 1.5 years I was there with S.A. Rajan sir, and I also continued with him as an associate. But this 3 to 4 years of the time is the best time. I am about 52 now. This is the best time, and the next best time is yet to come for me. Why? Is because that is a time where a boy becoming a man kind of a thing it is. So that is the time where we sharpened ourselves and we got ready. So friends, the most important thing is to follow the settled principles, the path or the methods that has been time tested, and it can be used in helping you to grow your profession. See, IRAC, it will get an instant connection. When you are doing your court cases, or when you are discussing with your senior counsel or inspecting, it will give an instant connect with the senior counsel and the judges to whom you are appearing. See, the IRAC method, it also promotes your case in a very sequential manner. See, this IRAC structure, it follows a predictable pattern as well. And this pattern provides a checklist for you to make sure that, that you have included all the necessary components in the discussion and supported every premise with a legal authority. See, this form of research, study, and preparation of the memorandum and from thereby drafting of the pleadings will help you to resolve the issues arising out of the disputed facts easily. See, in fact, this is the first concept that we teach the interns who come to our office. And this is the first concept we also tell our fresh juniors. We also beseech our juniors to follow this system whenever they are given an issue to resolve. In fact, I also encourage my colleagues, junior colleagues, to correct me even if I follow the system. Why I am saying this? See, we are brought up with our own backgrounds. We have got our own cultures, and we say, and we come and we say, oh, this is the we presume it. I don't know. I wanted to say this. We are all reddis, and we see that a girl should not have a right in the property. Only men should have a property. It's there. It is there. Even the leading lawyers of advocates who are in my community, this particular thought is there for them. But we should not go on our cultures or all our faiths or our understanding of life. We have to go. What is the law on the point? So that is the reason why I am saying that you must follow this IRAC system for you to be more professional. As I told you, I think I'll just take 2 minutes to give let's say for example, 2 examples. One example, I will just say that, let's say about 15-year-old boy will come to you, a boy and a girl will come to you, and they say that I want to get married. You'll say, sorry, boss, you need to wait. Because child marriage is, it is prohibited in law. Where is the law? We have to say, and we have to see research, and we do it. There will be judgments, and we have to give them what is going to happen. That's what we have to tell them. And the other important aspect is that you take the criminal law, if you take it up, and you just see, as I told you, we have to give quick relief. When there is going to be an FIR against your client, they will come, sir, I have not done anything, or this is what I have done, this is what has happened, there is an FIR, what to do. Nowadays, each and everything they'll put an FIR. And where you will get a quick relief to the client is getting a stay or getting it quashed. So how to do it? So you have to take the fact, you need to take the complaint, you read it and see whether the ingredients of the offense is there in that or not. Go on, just research on that law, on the judgments on the point, you make it. You prepare a case, make a case out of it, and just go on, file a quash petition. And suppose if you are doing a very good job and you have a good case in hands, definitely you can get a very quick relief to the client. And thereby they can also get, protected by the harassment we may get in the police. Likewise, let us say for the civil cases, when there is going to be a very frivolous case that has been filed, you look for Order 7, Rule 11, and just see this case if there is no cause of action or it is not barred by any law. You just say this is what it is, and you file an application and say to get it done. I have seen many cases where it should have been dismissed in threshold, is there pending for many years, either in civil courts or in high courts, simply because that the correct action was not taken, which is as per law. I would like to conclude here, and I wish all the best. Thank you for the opportunity given. Bindu, please take over.
Thank you, sir. It was a very knowledgeable session. I'm sure it would definitely help many of us here.
Thank you.
There's one question, sir.
Yeah.
This question has been raised by Arsalan Zaidi, who is a present final year law student of University Law College. His question is this way: what is your advice to students?
Bindu, 1 minute.
Yes,
Bindu, 1 minute. I would like to take the question and session, but only one condition. You need to ask questions. You should ask questions only which I know the answer. Okay. Yeah, please go ahead. Sorry. Yeah, tell me.
What is your advice to students who will join the profession regarding how one can choose his or her specialty in practice and importance of choosing a senior to practice under?
Oh, good. It's a very good, very good question. I think he's in the final year. You will see. All right. Arsalan Zaidi. I don't know. You should take your instinct for it. I don't know. I think I should be. If I look back of my 30 years of practice, I'm going to finish 30 years maybe next August. I am blessed because my expertise or my interest is in real estate and dispute resolution. When there is a dispute, how to resolve this dispute in a quality manner. So this is what is my dispute resolution, and real estate is my my interest. See, S.K.V. Chalapathy is one of the top lawyers. It's not because he's my senior I am saying this. He's one of the best lawyers in Bangalore city as regards, with regard to the dispute resolution and with regard to real estate. So I practice under him. For family reasons, I was moved to Chennai. I was with S.A. Rajan sir. S.A. Rajan sir is also another, is a, Tani Antarala. He's a reporter when it comes to dispute resolution or on any kind of real estate issues, that we can go and talk and do it. So what I would say is, I think you should follow your heart. You can take it and go. See, other important the concept that interest that I am getting nowadays is this corporate law. So because of the introduction of this IBC, DRT, this was giving me interest. So probably you can also take up like that. And other way of looking at it is when what comes to you very easy, or what gives you, which gives you confidence, or you, the teachers who teach you, or you get the interest. It's better you pursue that part of law. Because as I said, for every part of law, there will be a lot of lawyers. So whatever you pursue it, you can pursue it. All other things when you come, you can give to others. And when you become a good lawyer, and they also will refer the matters to you. I think I have given a correct answer, Jaydeep.
Yeah, thank you, sir. The next question is, in certain cases, it looks like a single case involving multiple ways to give a relief. How do we implement this tool of IRAC in such cases?
Very good question. I don't know how I missed this when I'm in my presentation.
This question is posted by Anu.
This is by your classmate Anuradha.
Anuradha, come on, Anuradha, don't pull my leg. See, what actually happens is, first when I said this, I know this is coming, the mischief question. See, when it is, when we have to come to the main relief, that is very, very important. You have to format your main issue. It's good that she raises this point. I wanted to say, let us say, very recently I came across one particular case which has got lots of problems. Let us say, for example, it was a company and there were 3-4 directors, long story short. And one of the directors cheated. He went out. He started another company with the same, very similar name, similar articles, memorandum, blah blah blah, everything, which has been helped by the person who prepared this. Both for them, both are same. Like this, so a series of things came, and other things is like a court fee, and other thing is like limitation. All these things will come when you make a main issue. And when you are going in, what do we call it as sub-issues? The issues will give you another issue, like a story, inside story, like that. Then for that also you need to keep making it. So whether starting a company with a similar name and the almost similar objects, is it possible? It's one question. You can go, you can just do it. When there is when a director makes an offense, there is a fraud which has been under, I think, 447 of the Companies Act. There, we can take action against that. We can go to NCL, can take it. And there is, of course, there is a money loss. Probably you can also go and file a case in the commercial courts. So you have to make every one small sub-issues also will become an issue, and you have to make it, you have to tell them. I also told, I advised him also, why don't you take some criminal action against these people? He said, sir, better, sir. They said, no, sir, let us not take it. Probably because we don't know, they're all friends, they're together, we do not know why they are going to say that. And I said, when you take action, they will not take action. But as a lawyers, that we make sub-issue, and every sub-issue you can elaborate and make a memorandum, and you can just add it to the main issue, which you have to do it. But my observation and my experience is that it's always better to focus on that main issue, that you get the issue done. Another example, let's say, partition suits. So when we are doing it, when your brother has given you some cheating and he has done his own properties, I would suggest go ahead and conduct the case, and finish it, get a preliminary degree, and in the final degree proceedings, probably you can always add it. So that's also another way of looking at it, Anu. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. The next question is from Naveen. How do we apply the IRAC rule in the initial meet with the client? As this process takes time to come to the conclusion, how do we apply?
Am I audible? Bindu, am I audible?
Yes, sir.
network is low, ma'am.
Okay. Just speakers, please
Yeah,
unmute.
Yeah. Kindly please come again with the question.
Yes, sir. This question is from one Mr. Naveen. How do we apply the IRAC rule in the initial meet with the client? As this process takes time to come into conclusion, how do we apply this in a short period available in the first meet with the client?
That's okay. And it's a very good question. Who asked you to give you immediate relief like that? That you need to do your research. I don't think any research that you want to do it, I think you can get in 24 hours time. You collect all the facts, but come to the facts in dispute. Based on that, you say, please come tomorrow morning. You can say that. This is the time. This is the reason why I said seniors will come in handy. Sometimes when somebody will, like this only, they will ask you this question, can I do something like this? I'll say, okay, give me 5 minutes time, and you just call a senior. Sir, S.A. Rajan sir, sir, good morning. Sir, can I talk to you? Then he will give you. You can also go, that's the reason why you can go to your mentors, your seniors, and they'll help you. The other way is this. Suppose if this is not your practice of law, your field, you can always refer, sir, but for this reason, let's have something which is related with, let us say, where a chartered accountant, lots of numbers are involved. You can just say, please go to the chartered accountant. Don't take it up on your head, and you can always refer to your your colleagues. That's also other way of doing it. But to Naveen, what is that you need to do is you have to take your time. Either it's going to be 1 day or 1 month. We do not know what kind of somebody will come and say they may have. You can do research for 1 month and give a solution for them. Or somebody will come and say that my house is getting demolished. Then you have to immediately take action within 24 hours. So it all depends on again, it depends on the client. Look at what is that client wants. If you can do it, do it. You can do it yourself, you do it, or take the help of the seniors, you do it, or you refer the matter to the brothers and sisters of you who are practicing it. That's the reason why we have in this so many groups. You just put it, as I told you, that GST when issue came, sir, urgent GST, what to do? He said, wait. Then I put it on one of the groups, and immediately when somebody came and I just referred it. So that's how it is.
Yeah, thank you, sir. If anyone else, participants have questions, you can raise your hands as well.
Dr. Nazreen is raising her hand.
Yes. Nazreen, hi.
From Dubai or from Bangalore?
No, she is in South Africa. She is Dr. Nazreen Taj now. She is your Sudesh is your job. She's doing. I think she's assistant principal or something. Not principal, I think now. Oh,
Nazreen, are you able to ask? Nazreen?
Nazreen?
Hello, doctor. You want to ask a question?
No, I think she's just wishing.
Okay. Anyhow, we have our principal here, Professor Suresh V. Nadagadar. I request him to kindly.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Just I heard the lecture of Sri Madhusudan Reddy Saab, and in fact, it was a very informative and useful lecture. And many of our LLB and LLM students participated. You have given them very good tips about the practice and all these things. And as I have requested in the beginning, once the pandemic is over, you kindly make a visit to university, and
Sure.
yeah. So
it's my honor,
really,
Professor.
yeah,
It's my honor. It's my own college.
Also, take this opportunity to thank the president and all alumni association members and our general secretary, Professor Sudesh sir, for all the support to the University Law College for conduct of activities. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
So now let us conclude today's session. On behalf of the University Law College Alumni Association and University Law College Bangalore University, I would like to thank Sri R. Madhusudana Reddy for such a knowledgeable session, wonderful session, for having made this webinar a successful one. I'm sure many of us would definitely follow the IRAC method. I would also like to thank Dr. Suresh V. Nadagadar, Principal, University Law College, Mr. Gautam Chand SF, President of the Alumni Association, Dr. V. Sudesh, General Secretary of Alumni Association, Mr. Hem Kumar, Vice President of Alumni Association, and the entire Executive Committee of our Alumni Association, and last not the least, all the participants here for having made this webinar a successful one. I thank our speaker, Mr. Madhusudan Reddy, once again for sharing his knowledge with us. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Namaskar.
Thank Bindu thank you, Bindu.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Bindu.
Thank you, sir. All your blessings.
Thank you, one and all.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Madhusudan. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. It's my honor. It's my honor.
Thank you.
I think you can close it.
Thank you, Anu.
Thank you.
Anu,
Thank you
Anu
so
Sudan.
much.
Thank you. Bye bye. Let's
Thank
meet
you. Bye.
sometime.
Bye.